different kinds of orchestras in both Britain and here in Vienna, and seen many different kinds of traditions. What is it that is the brass concept of this tradition, one of the most traditional orchestras, tradition-based orchestras?
Yeah, it's clarity. It's the articulation is still very, very clear. A lot of brass sections tend to play with very, very constant airs like do, 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 whereas here will go bum, 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 bum. It's very, very clear. The front of notes is extremely dated, extremely clear. That's the big thing. And also that a fortissimo sounds loud, but it will have a loud character. Not just the dynamic gets louder and the sound stays broad. It's not that at all. They don't mind biting at all. So when it's quiet, it sounds as a quiet character. When it's loud, it has a loud character. And they tend to bite a little earlier. So it gets percussive earlier and doesn't get in the way of the strings.
So the initial attack, it has
more punch.
More punch, and then do you think they back off a little bit?
Yeah, definitely.
And what would you say about the focus? I mean, are people trying to keep things very focused and very in the middle, or does the sound get a little broader? Do they let it spread a little bit more like an American orchestra?
No, the orchestra tends to try and stay focused, but you've got to remember that we play in the Musik Verein.
Yeah.
And if you make a big sound in there, if you go this way, you don't notice it, because the whole is so resonant.
Yeah.
That you just try and stay very, very focused so that it projects. You need clarity in that whole.
Yeah. How much does the Musik Verein play into the way the orchestra plays? I mean, I've never been in there without an audience until today, and I was so struck by how it's so resonant that I almost can't.
Yeah.
You almost can't make out what's happening.
No, that's right.
But obviously, when there's people in there, it helps
gets
out.
It gets better. I think the Musik Verein has an incredible personal feel between an orchestra and an audience. You feel very much like you're in someone's sitting room.
Yeah.
But as to whether, it depends what kind of an acoustic you want. The Vienna Philharmonic style, which may be very linked to the whole, is a mixture, a Wiener Mischung. If you go and listen in the Philharmonie in Berlin, you can hear absolutely every individual player, and that seems to be the style of so many concert halls that are being built now. We just recently did a tour all around Europe and Asia, and in apparently fantastic new concert halls, and you could hear absolutely every single last note, and it was impossible to get a blend of sound. Whereas in a Musik Verein, because there's so much resonance, you can get inside a double bass sound. You can get, so the secret of the Vienna Philharmonic sound has always been that you can't actually hear what individual instrument is playing, because it's mixing with two or three others in a group and making a new sound. And the whole has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
In fact, this orchestra gets very twitchy if we go into a dead acoustic. You go somewhere dead like the Barbican Centre in London, and the orchestra really doesn't like it. It takes a while to get used to it.
Do you think that's because part of that is because they suddenly have to work so much harder to get the bloom that the hall usually provides?
Yeah, and also they have to pay attention to what they themselves are doing, because everyone can hear it.
Yeah.
Rather than just thinking about blending with somebody else, it's like, well, I better watch out for what I'm doing. You can really hear it.
So when you're in there, when you're in the heat of battle, and it's so cool that the Vienna tradition is seating the basses along the back wall and stuff. So you have a bass, 2 feet from you?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Fantastic.
So this kind of the swirl of the acoustic allows you, like you said, to maybe. You kind of feel like you can get inside that sound that is near you, but isn't so near that you say, "Oh, I can hear Bob."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Also, these new halls, you feel like you're playing on your own. Very much like you're playing on your own. I mean, how can you blend with somebody else if all you can hear is yourself?
Yeah.
I did a couple of concerts in March, and I never heard the bass trombone at all. Through the whole concert in a Bruckner Symphony.
Oof.
And if I can't hear that bass trombone, you can't hear any bass trombones, because he's quite a strong player. So yeah, that's it.